Manchester City facing potential expulsion, what it could mean for football. Today we've got a story that could absolutely shake the foundations of English football as we know it. I'm talking about Manchester City, yes, the reigning Premier League champions, facing a potential expulsion from multiple competitions, both domestically and internationally. I know, it sounds insane. But let's break it down as to what's going on, what the implications are, and what this could mean for the future of the club and football as a whole. You're going to want to stick around for this one, because if it goes the way some are predicting, it could change the game completely. Let's dive in. So here's the situation. According to reports from The Telegraph, Manchester City are under investigation for serious breaches of financial rules. And I'm not just talking about a little slap on the wrist here. This could lead to the club being expelled from the Premier League and possibly even other competitions like the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Champions League, and even the FIFA Club World Cup. Yes, you heard that right. This is the biggest shake-up we've seen in decades. But how did we even get here? Let's back up a bit and give some context to the situation. This investigation goes back several years, with Manchester City facing upwards of 115 to 130 charges related to financial misconduct. These charges include things like inflating sponsorship deals, failing to provide accurate financial information, and not cooperating with investigations. Essentially, City are being accused of bending or outright breaking financial rules to gain an unfair advantage over other clubs. Now, City have been under scrutiny of this kind before. Remember in 2020 when they were banned from the Champions League for 2 years by UEFA? That ban was later overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, but it showed that City are already walking a very fine line. This time, though, the stakes are even higher. So what happens if they're found guilty? According to The Telegraph, Manchester City aren't just looking at a points deduction, which would be bad enough on its own. Their Premier League rivals are pushing for something much harsher. In fact, expulsion from the league itself is on the table. And that's not just the Premier League this punishment would extend to. It would also apply to other competitions as well. Let me break it down for you. If City are expelled from the Premier League, they could also be kicked out of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup due to specific rules of those competitions. The FA Cup, for example, has a clause that allows clubs to be disqualified if they're removed from their respective leagues. The same goes for the Carabao Cup, which only allows Premier League and Football League teams to compete. So if City are no longer a Premier League club, they're out of those competitions too. Wild, right? But wait, it doesn't stop there. The Champions League and the Club World Cup are also in question. To compete in the Champions League, clubs need to hold a UEFA license, and if City are expelled from the Premier League, it's unclear whether they'd be able to retain that license. The same goes for the newly expanded FIFA Club World Cup. If City are thrown out of domestic competitions, it's hard to see how they'd be allowed to compete on the international stage. And let's be real, if Manchester City, one of the most dominant teams in recent years, were thrown out of these major competitions, it would leave a huge hole. The quality of these tournaments would take a hit, no question about it. Now, as you'd expect, Manchester City are denying any wrongdoing. They've said that they have a comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence to prove their innocence. City are confident that once all the evidence is reviewed, they'll be cleared of these charges. But as of right now, the case is ongoing and the outcome is still very much up in the air. We should also mention that the Premier League's investigation is separate to UEFA's. So even if City managed to clear their name with UEFA, as they did a couple of years ago, it doesn't mean they'll get off the hook with the Premier League this time around. Let's take a minute to talk about what all of this could mean for football as a whole. If Manchester City are found guilty and expelled from all these competitions, it's going to send shockwaves through the sport. This would be an unprecedented punishment, and it raises some serious questions about the future of the game. For one, the competitiveness of the Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League would take a hit. Look, love them or hate them, City have been one of the top teams for years, and their absence would definitely lower the level of the competition in those tournaments. Could another team rise up to take their place? Sure, but let's not pretend that losing a club of City's caliber wouldn't hurt the overall quality of football as we get to see it. On the flip side, though, this could be a moment where the footballing authorities show they're serious about enforcing financial rules. For years, fans have been calling for more transparency and stricter punishments for clubs that break the rules, and this could be the example that sets the precedent for the future. So what happens next? Well, we wait. Manchester City's legal battle is far from over, and the outcome is still uncertain. If they manage to clear their name, things will go back to business as usual. But if they're found guilty, the repercussions could be massive. Not just for City, but for English and European football as a whole. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it and how it develops. As always, we'll keep you updated on the information as it comes out. So what do you think? Can Manchester City really be expelled from the Premier League and other competitions? Or will they manage to escape punishment again? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more football news and updates. Thanks for watching. I'm Ian Harrington, and this is Footballers.